What's going on, guys? This is the Oregon Football Report. I am Will Ortner. First of all, I want to say happy holidays. I hope you are all enjoying the holiday season. But unfortunately, today we have to talk about something that isn't so happy, isn't so jolly, and that's what are the Ducks going to do at that quarterback position if Dante Moore leaves and heads over to the NFL draft. Something that continues to look more and more likely as the days go on. He continues to be very highly rated on the NFL draft big boards, including Mel Kiper putting him as the number one overall prospect, not just quarterback, going into what could be the 2026 draft. The Ducks have to have a backup plan. Now, today's video, we are going to exclude the possibility of the Ducks rolling with one of the backups that they already have on the roster. This is going to be a video where we look at the transfer portal and who the Ducks could go out and pick up in that transfer portal. Before we get into that, though, we are one of the fastest growing channels here on Chat Sports, and we are just 155 subscribers away from 2K. We'd be getting to 2K subscribers in 2 weeks. That would be a fantastic and, I believe, an all-time high here at Chat Sports. So come on in. Hit that sub button. You're going to get daily Oregon Ducks content every single day. Sorry, I talked about the other favorite team's channel that I get to cover here at Chat Sports. All right, first, we need to talk about Sam Leavitt. He seems to be the number one option that most Oregon Duck fans want to come in if the Ducks choose to go with a transfer portal quarterback. And to be honest with you, he would be my number one transfer portal quarterback that I would want to come into Oregon. When you look at Leavitt's career stats, he's over 60% completion in every single year. He's over 1,000 yards in the 2 years where he is starting, and you can really look at that 2024 season where he was balling out and he stayed healthy the entire year. Imagine what he could have done this year if he got to play in more than 7 games. Now imagine him with DeCorian Moore, Evan Stewart, the likes of what he didn't have necessarily at Arizona State. Yeah, he had Tyson, but he just had Jordan Tyson. He didn't have the level of receivers that Oregon has along with the depth. So imagine what he could do coming back home to Oregon and leading the Ducks for his final college football year. I think Sam Leavitt would be a home run, knock him out of the park signee in the recruiting window for this Oregon Duck football team. And I think what's most important about Sam Leavitt, too, is that he's got all the skills and capability to take this team as far as possible. The Ducks should bring in Sam Leavitt for 2026. Agree with that statement or disagree? Let me know down below in the comment section. I've been very blunt and honest. I want Sam Leavitt back home in Oregon with the Ducks. Let me know what you think. Do you want him back home? Do you not want him back home? And let me know why you would want him back home or not back home. Next quarterback that we're going to talk about, Dylan Raiola. Now, Dylan Raiola came out as one of the top recruits out of high school. He was originally going to go to Georgia. I think there was even some talk of him coming to Eugene with the Oregon Ducks. Eventually, he ends up settling on going to Nebraska. At the time, his uncle was coaching over there as well as his dad having played at Nebraska. Now, Raiola's last year wasn't quite as good as his freshman year from a yardage standpoint, but when it comes to his completion percentage, it was much higher. His interceptions went way down, and you could see that there was clear growth. Now, the reason why that his yardage wasn't higher is because he broke his leg, so he missed a significant amount of the season. What I think would be interesting with Raiola is the same thing with Leavitt, but even to a grander scale. Nebraska doesn't really have the wide receiver talent that the Oregon Ducks do. Imagine what he could do flourishing in this system. What I think is important to mention about Raiola, though, is that he has made it clear that he and his camp want him to be in Oregon. It feels like they are making a stronger push, while some of the other quarterbacks that are going to be on this list are really just fielding options right now. I don't know that Dylan Raiola is a home run, knock him out of the park type of quarterback to come in, like I think Sam Leavitt would be. But if the Ducks did decide to go with Raiola, it could kind of turn into a similar situation as Bo Nix. Highly recruited quarterback out of high school, I would say that Bo Nix's time at Auburn was a little bit less than stellar. I think that Raiola's time over at Nebraska, a little bit better than stellar, but I still think there's a lot of room for him to improve, and I think the Oregon Ducks could help him do so. The next quarterback that we're going to talk about, I don't know how many of you guys know about Drew Mestemaker, the University of North Texas quarterback, but I've gotten a chance to see him multiple times this year, and he's actually rated higher in the transfer portal than most of the big names that you're going to see on this list. Now, Sam Leavitt's going to be 1-1 when it comes to transfer portal QBs, but Drew Mestemaker is very high up on that list. He is a younger kid, did a fantastic job this year in Denton, and I actually got to be boots on the ground for multiple games, and I got to see Drew Mestemaker play. His completion percentage was very, very high on a team that, look, not a lot of NFL talent at that wide receiver position. He doesn't really turn the ball over. Now, he's more of a traditional pocket passer, but he can move, he can run if he needs to, does a great job of getting the ball out quickly. And what's important to remember when it comes to his athleticism is he didn't get recruited as a quarterback. I believe he was recruited as a wide receiver. He transitioned to the role of quarterback. He's really freaking good. I've gotten to see him twice now, and I was very impressed with what he did against the Washington State Cougars and the University of South Florida. I think that he is a fantastic quarterback that can be really expanded upon his skill set when he comes to Oregon. I think that if he were to come to Eugene and become a Duck, he would be a fantastic quarterback that not a lot of people would really have on their radar. Drew Mestemaker is going to find himself in Power 4 football next year, and I really think you're going to see him fly and take off. Not a lot of people are watching Denton on Saturdays to see how North Texas is doing. I did a couple times, though. All right, next quarterback that we're going to see on this list, DJ Lagway, the former Florida Gator QB. His head coach, Billy Napier, ends up leaving Florida because, well, he was let go. And so then DJ Lagway decided to enter into the portal himself. Now, there haven't been as many links to Oregon with DJ Lagway as some of the other quarterbacks on this list, but I'll tell you right now that if Oregon wants to get in the DJ Lagway business, I'd have a hard time seeing DJ Lagway not want to get into the Oregon business. Now, this year was a little bit lackluster from DJ. He missed a lot of spring ball and fall camp with different injuries. You see a very high interception ratio, and that touchdown number needs to be way up. It feels like DJ Lagway just needs a reset on his career, and he also needs to stay healthy. The talent is clearly there, but is he going to be able to reach the full potential of that talent? We'll see. I think the Ducks could do a good job of getting him there, though. Last guy that I have on the list, Brendan Sorsby out of Cincinnati. Another guy who has played at a smaller school per se. Obviously, Cincinnati doesn't have the same type of allure, the same type of love as Oregon. But what I find fascinating about Sorsby is not only his ability to throw the football efficiently, but his ability to use his legs as well. Now, in the Dan Lanning era as the head coach here at Oregon, we haven't seen a ton of quarterback run, but Bo Nix clearly could do a decent job of it when he was at Oregon. Dylan Gabriel could clearly do a decent job of it while at Oregon, and Dante Moore can clearly do a decent job of it at Oregon. Could Brendan Sorsby kind of be a dark horse for the Oregon Ducks? Potentially. High completion percentage, just under 3,000 yards. Imagine what he would do with the Oregon talent at that wide receiver room. He doesn't turn the ball over, and like I said, he's not afraid to run the football, and he can do it at a very great level. All five of these players are potentially gonna be or could be an Oregon Duck next season. Now, if the Ducks do decide to go into the transfer portal, they would only take one of these quarterbacks. So I have to ask you, who is the best player in the transfer portal? Now, you might look at these five quarterbacks and say, well, I'm going to pick the one that I want Oregon to take next year, and that could be the best player in the transfer portal. Maybe you look at some of the other wide receivers or running backs or defensive and offensive linemen that are in the portal, and you say, hey, it's going to be one of those guys. Let me know down below in the comments. Transfer portal season is just heating up, and you know the Oregon Ducks, they're going to find some key players in that portal and really turn them into stars here at Oregon. That's what head coach Dan Lanning does. So let me know who you think the best player in the transfer portal is. that's going to do it for today's show. Right now, we are so close to that 2K mark. Help us out. Hit that sub button if you like Oregon football content, if you like Oregon football news, if you like Oregon football rumors. Let us know. Subscribe to the channel because we're going to have those videos out every single day while I'm running this channel. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and Sko Ducks.